What is going on, guys? Dublar back here with another Diablo 3 video. This one's going to cover the new Demon Hunter Impale build that just came up for Season 10 patch 2.5.0. This build recently emerged with the reworking to the Holy Point Shot quiver, which allowed for 2 additional daggers to be thrown when Impale is used. This effectively tripled the damage potential of the build and pushed it way up into the leaderboards. I'll be honest with you guys, I've never particularly liked playing the Demon Hunter, but this one definitely changed my mind about the character. Although this build is going to mainly be targeted towards filling the DPS role in the 4-man meta, it's still a very viable build for solo players. I have personally cleared an 80 GR with this, and this was mainly with the first gear pieces I rolled and only a few ancients. Additionally, I had 0 augments on my gear and relatively low gems. This is proof to me that this build has some real potential and without a doubt should be in your rotation if you're planning to play Demon Hunter this season, or you're just looking for a build to farm Paragon with in 4-man runs. The best part about this build is it's very easy to learn and probably even easier to play. So I'll go ahead and give an overview of this build and how to play it, and I'll link the full build guide below. So starting off with the gear, you want to run the full Shadow set. This is going to give you a 40,000% weapon damage buff to Impale, and it's going to give us all the runes of Shadow Power, and it's going to make them last forever. Moving into bracers, this is a pretty flexible part of this build. For solo, I recommend running something like Nems or Strong Arms, and for groups, Lacunae bracers are a good choice. For the belt, Chain of Shadows. This is what's going to allow us to continue vaulting, so it's a massive buff to our mobility. The Holy Point Shot. This is the piece that got reworked for the season, and it's what allows us to throw 3 daggers instead of the 1 with Impale. Carlay Point. This allows for hatred regeneration when you hit an enemy that has already been impaled. The Endless Walk set. Because of its versatile damage increase and damage reduction benefits. And from your last ring, you're going to run the higher roll of either Ko for the massive damage buff, or the Elusive Ring for the damage reduction. The lower one of these is going to be cubed. The other items we're going to cube are the Akia Cuirass for the damage reduction, and Dawn for the Vengeance cooldown. Moving into skills, Impale, Ricochet. This is going to be our main damage dealing skill. Companion, Wolf Companion. This is going to increase our damage by a bit. Vengeance with the Darkheart rune. The Darkheart rune is going to reduce damage, and Vengeance is going to add attacks every time we attack. This is important because it works really good with Shadow Power. Shadow Power is going to increase our life per hit for 5 seconds, so this is going to give us a lot of survivability to the build. Vault, Rattling Roll. The Rattling Roll rune is going to enable the damage buff on the Strong Arm bracers. Finally, Fan of Knives with the Bladed Armor rune. This is going to slow enemies that are near us, and it's also going to give us an additional armor increase. Moving into passives, Awareness. This is going to be our extra life. Coal of the Weak. This is going to increase damage by 20% on slowed enemies. Ambush. This is going to be a 40% damage buff to enemies over 75% health. And Leech. This is going to be a life per hit increase and an overall heal bonus. Before we jump into the gameplay breakdown, we should cover some important aspects of this build. So 1, it's necessary that we get at least 37% cooldown reduction to maintain permanent Vengeance. This figure's not a sheet CDR stat, meaning that if we're running Gogok of Swiftness, this counts towards our overall cooldown. Number 2, we want to maintain our Elusive Ring stack. To maintain this stack, all we have to do is either Volt or cast Shadow Power every 8 seconds. This really shouldn't be difficult because we're going to be vaulting around everywhere anyway. Number 3, make sure you're playing close to the elites that you're trying to kill. The Impale daggers spread out when you cast them, but if you're close to an elite that you're trying to attack, you're able to hit with more than 1 dagger at once. And finally, make sure you time your attack around your COE rotation. Also make sure you include any other damage buffs you have available to you, like pools from your follower or anything like that. Last, we'll go ahead and take a look at this GR70 gameplay and give you an idea of how to play this build. So when you're moving through the rift, you want to alternate every 3 or so vaults with an Impale. This will make sure that your vault is not costing any resource. This also ensures that we're maintaining our elusive ring stacks for the damage reduction and keeping a high resource cost for the Akia proc. As soon as Vengeance is off cooldown, you want to refresh it. If your CDR is at least 37% with your Gogok stacks, this should be before you pop out of Vengeance. This should be very noticeable because your player turns into a shadow type form when they're in Vengeance. I personally listen to the sound the attacks make while in Vengeance to let me know that it's still up. You also want to cast Shadow constantly for the life per hit bonus. This helps keep you alive. So once you've mastered these few skills, getting close to the elite should not be a problem. You want to get very close to them and slam right through them with Impale. And this is pretty much how the build is played. It's very easy, very quick, and very strong. I really hope you guys enjoyed this build, and I hope you take it far in Season 10. If this video helped you out, please don't hesitate to hit that like button or leave a comment. If you hated everything about it, hit the dislike button and let me know why. Anyways guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.